It's deep playing.
Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm Luke, the Crazy Maker Nerd. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to give back to the community of Blood Bowl with a fully flexible, rollable, 3D printable pitch mat. So let's start off. I went online and I found this. A minimalist chess set. And what's quite unique about this chess set is it's designed to be completely foldable and 3D printable. All of your chess pieces are kept within. This version even has a bayonet feature to then lock on the lid so that you can lock the lid on the bottom after rolling it, put all your pieces in and then lock the top, and you've got this tube of stuff, everything you need to have a match. Now this got me thinking, what if the tiles weren't just black and white? What if they were a grid for another game? And then I remembered, oh, the NFL season is back. I've always wanted to do a Blood Bowl team and get a Blood Bowl game going because I enjoyed it when my good friend John came over and we played a match with his two teams. So I opened and I downloaded the file into Bambu Studio and I printed it out to have a play. So my thinking is, this tube is probably going to be double the size. Now, this is probably more difficult to store than a neoprene mat, but because it will have a cavity in the middle if I do some end caps, it does also kind of mean that I've got a storage solution for potentially a team of players. So what I'm going to do today is show you the process that I'm going to go through whilst doing it, and we're going to CAD design, 3D print, test, stick together, and hopefully finish an entire Blood Bowl mat. So let's crack on, shall we? And I use Autodesk Fusion. I've already made an empty file. So I've got the Bambu X1C. So I can do 256, 256, 256. So that's our build volume. We're just going to leave that as a background sketch so we can see how big it is. Let's find out how large a Blood Bowl pitch size. 26 squares long by 15 squares wide. The size of the individual squares has changed over editions, making the overall pitch dimensions 90 by 50. Oh, correct, that's quite large. But that won't deter us. Let's put another square in Autodesk. So we're likely going to need to split it into 6 builds at the most.
Oh boy, was I wrong about that.
So as far as the pitch size is concerned, I can either do it so that it folds lengthways or widthways. Now, logic would dictate you want to fold it so that the length goes smaller in your brain, but actually you want to fold it the other way, and that's so that the roll only becomes a small diameter instead of a large 27 centimeter thing. It'll be like a massive thing to keep. What I'm going to do is I'll extrude all of this straight away. So that's our board. Next up, we're going to draw out all of these pips. So this is based on the chessboard again. These are the sizes that they use to basically push in all the little squares that are going to become the player board. Carried out the square and I've patterned it over the entire surface. Now by doing this, we've now got a board with lots and lots and lots of divots all over it, ready for something to be pushed in. So the next thing I did was I've also CAD'd on these triangles. So these triangles are the cutout, which means that this thing can actually bend. If you look, there is a groove. So I've duplicated it as close as possible to the grooves on this chessboard. in theory, what you do is you bend along all these triangles now. Now next up, we've got the squares that go on the top. So when it comes to designing things that push into each other, there's a thing called tolerance. Tolerance is where you basically need to add a little bit of a gap so they can actually push in and out. And this is normally because you get things like material shrinkage or material expansion. So what I've done here is I've got my 29mm square. I've put a 0.5 on, which is my go-to for anything that has to move in and out. So this moves, as shown here. This is moving that way as it folds. Your push-in once items, I normally do a 0.3. So we've done a 0.3 offset of the shape of the hole, which I'll only do once because there's no need to do loads. It's because I can print as many as I want. It doesn't have to look the same on this screen right now. Also going to add edge blend on the edges. So once again, there's no sharp surfaces. It shouldn't hurt someone if they accidentally touch it. So of course, I'm also going to have to cap both sides of this off. Now to do that, we're going to need a shape which is 15 sides long, as shown by this, with a groove deep enough to push in that 10mm edge we've added, plus we're going to put a chamfer on both sides so that it pushes in a little bit more easily. So what I'm going to do here is, this is the base. This is the first piece we're going to do. So what I can do is create a circular pattern of the sizes. So what we've got here is we've got the 40mm, the 32mm and the 25mm with 0.5 offset all the way around. And what we're going to do is we're just going to circularly pattern them as many times as we can until it falls over. So this is going to be done in a way that we're going to go in tiers. Like so. So now we've got a cap which is going to house some miniatures. Now funnily enough, there's more than 5 in a game of Blood Bowl. So what I'm going to do is essentially project this So we've got this lovely tiered plutonium rod system. So what we're going to do now is on the very top, I will place a shape. And now what we have is a rod. What we will worry about is at the moment these can slide up and down, whatever. We want them to slide on to an extent, so when you first assemble it, you can get it together. It needs to slide a long way, down a very long shaft.
Don't mess about.
So we're going to split a body. Let's split this here. Then we're going to split it here. So this top one still needs doing. So we're going to split that body here. So we want this one to remain the same, this very top, but we also need to add some clearance. So we're going to press pull the clearance on it. So it pushes over here. And then we're going to do the same thing on every single segment. Now have a pole with segments that you can push over so your entire Blood Bowl army is held together in the middle. Pretty neat, eh? Now that we are overlooking one thing, There is also a part missing on the top. So now we've got all these pieces, let's export them all. Let's import all of the pieces. Let's start with the board. So the board is going to be too big, we know that for a fact. Look at the size of it in comparison. But what we can do on this wonderful, wonderful program is a thing called cutting. There won't be an exact amount, it'll just be whatever floats on the boat. On this software, you can add a connector. So we're going to want to connect every single bit. We've also got other stuff, so let's import the squares. Now we need a fair few of these. Next piece. Right. So this is future, not quite editing, but everything's being printed slowly, and I came up with an idea. So the problem's going to be, with the design that I've done so far, the cap and the other cap, they push on, they'll go onto the board when it's rolled. But if you just pick up the tube by the top cap, it's all just going to fall apart. So my solution's going to be, I'm going to try and extend the central column and then put a bayonet feature on it, a bit like an old light bulb. What you do is you take the plutonium rod of miniatures, wrap your board around it, and then you hold it together at the top of your hand, take the cap, push it on, twist it, and then you can lift it by that cap. So let's do that now. Right, so now it's all printing at the moment. I've been ferociously printing. I have been sleeping like trash, trying to get up at the moment every 6 hours so that I can change the build plate on my printer, because I realised that there's a lot of build plates. So there's a total of 19 builds over this entire project. Currently we're at build 12. I think I'm about halfway on all these little squares, and before everything's built, I'm going to try and put together the main board because all of the pieces are printed that are flexible. So I'm going to glue them all together today so that I've got one big piece. I'm not going to bother painting the backs of them. I don't see that there as being any point. And once that's done, I'm going to move on to try and work out an effective method for flocking each one of these individual tiles. I've actually gone ahead and bought some flocking of two slightly different colours so I can alternate between the two, a bit like a chessboard, black and white. It'll be two different colours of green. I am really struggling for time here because this video right now, it's Sunday, this is going to be out by Friday. The biggest problem is going to be trying to get all of these builds finished in time. It's gonna be tight. So tight that everything before this point I've already edited, knowing that I won't have long. Right, so I've had a go, and what I would have thought would be the quick method, but actually I don't think this is going to work, because as soon as you touch these, all the green comes off. I'm going to dust all of these off, start again, and stick with the method that means I can do all of them at once that I've printed, and that's going to be using probably some PVA and a brush, and then sprinkling on afterwards. I could have cut this out of the video, but I think it's really important to show you that I don't get things right from the get-go. I'm only human, I make mistakes, and this is a prime example of I thought I'd try to cut some corners, and it's not going to work out. just like that, a fully fledged Blood Bowl pitch, which is completely rollable and provides a storage solution for up to 2 teams.
Well, not quite. You see, I had a critical failure of the last piece needing to be printed, which was the shaft in the middle. So, although not featured in this video, it is uploaded and is currently printing on my machine, and I have complete confidence it will work. Back to the video.
If you would like to print your own Blood Bowl pitch, there will be a link in the description below. Now, as I said at the start of the video, the 3D print files are now completely free and released to you guys, so you can print out your own Blood Bowl pitch, or maybe use it for something completely different. And you can download them as both a pre-sliced file, exactly as I did here, or you can also download the completely unmodified pitch and stand without any cuts in it already, so you can slice it yourself. I really hope this pitch will be put to good use across the community. I know it's a little bit unnecessary, the game comes with a perfectly good pitch, but if you want that little bit of, you know, texture, a bit of tactile feel, something that just looks a bit more, and you don't want to break the bank with these fancy neoprene mats, because then you'd have to also have a storage box and the mat. Together I think they'd definitely be more expensive. Also, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe and bell icon below. I've also got Instagram and TikTok, all with the name Crazy Maker Nerd. You'll find hint photos of builds that I'm doing for videos and some bonus material as well. Can you think of any more rollable mats that might be useful? Pop them in the comments section below. If I get some good suggestions, I'll definitely make another one and release it for free online again. But there is one thing I have noticed. These little guys, well, they're lacking some colour. And there's something else that I need to paint as well, which is pretty related to my team. So you know what? I think the next episode might be a painting video. But until next time, see you later, my nerds. I don't know what else to say really, it's just, I'm quite happy with this for once, and sure there's stuff I can improve, but yeah, I made that. That's pretty cool. What are you still doing here? Go print some stuff.